Oh, hey! Can you hear me now? Oh, I always forget to unmute. Hello. Thank you, Kathy, for being here. Thank you for supporting me and helping me this morning. I really appreciate it. Yay! I was working on the scene for my background. But I think the file's too big, so I have to cut it down some. I'm still learning everything, and it's not an easy task. StreamYard is not an easy task to learn. There's a lot to go with it. But saying that, if you could please share out the live, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm working really hard trying to get better at presenting these sad stories, So I'm coming live today to there's been some updates on the Kada Scott out of Philadelphia. She had gone missing October 4th, I believe. I believe it was October 4th or 6th. And they have someone in custody, a person of interest. This man had already been picked up for hurting another girl. And then this girl didn't show up for court. And so they dropped the charges on this girl. But now they are picking them back up. I think because until they get more on Kada, they really can't hold him in jail on nothing. So they've refiled those charges on this other lady. They haven't said her name, which is fine. I mean, she is a victim. But they did find some remains. They're talking about a brother. I really didn't get into too much of that because I think it's just mostly talk. And I just want to come with the facts of the case. And they do have video of the area where these remains have been found. And that's how the brother's coming in. So let's get onto YouTube here. And I should have had this all set up, but I was too busy trying to do other stuff. Gotta share this. I keep forgetting you have to share. You can't just automatically see it. All right. So, such a beautiful girl, right? So beautiful. You just can't imagine jealousy. And they have a TikTok video. I'm not going to say, nobody said that it was her house. They seen him lurking in her window. They haven't really said. They just put this TikTok video out. So I'm not real sure. But it just looks freaky. But police discovered human remains at an abandoned school while searching for Kada Scott, the 23-year-old Philadelphia woman who has been missing since she failed to come home from an overnight shift 2 weeks ago. So there was a coworker that said she had left 40 minutes after her shift started at 10. She worked at 10 to 6. And then you have another coworker that says, well, she left right before her shift was supposed to end. So I don't understand the discrepancies because you can tell when she was there and when she wasn't. Isn't there video? Sure there is. Investigators found the remains in a shallow grave on Saturday in the same area where Scott's personal belongings were found days earlier. So that makes me wonder, he's been in jail. So maybe this is where the brother came along, right? Like, did his brother help him? What happened here? According to John Stanford, Deputy Commissioner of the Philadelphia Police Department, police said a tip came into the investigators directing them to search the wooded area around Ada H. Lewis Middle School. That's where the woman's remains were found, Stanford said. I just don't get it. You have already searched the area, and then all of a sudden, her remains are found. Stanford said the remains had been sent to the medical examiner's office to determine the identity. So like I said, we don't know if it was her or not, but chances are, her stuff was found there. We are not going to confirm at this point that it is Miss Kada Scott, because that has to be done by a medical examiner's office, Stanford said Saturday. But we have been in communication with her family as the process and the fact that we have recovered a human being. And so at this point, it is not a lot of work. It's still a lot of work to be done. Oh, Scott was reportedly missing by her mother on October 5th after the 23-year-old failed to return home from an overnight shift as an assisted living facility where she worked. She was scheduled from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Her father, Kevin, told NBC Dateline he said that Scott's mother reached out to him, and when they realized neither had heard from their daughter, they tried to call her. Their calls were sent straight to voicemail, so I'm assuming her phone either died or it was shut off. Scott's mother then called the assisted living facility, the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, which her mother left her shift early. Her daughter left her shift early around 10:30 p.m. the night before. Police found Scott's mother's car, which she drove to work, in the employee parking lot without her personal belongings. She had an iPad, iPhone, and an Apple Watch in her bag, but they were not inside the vehicle, her father said. Whatever happened, she took her belongings with her. All right, let's play the video and see what they say.
2 weeks after 23-year-old Kada Scott went missing, chilling video surfacing of the suspect in her disappearance.
Go away, don't come over here.
Prosecutors in Philadelphia say this is Keon King, shortly before he kidnapped and assaulted a different woman earlier this year.
It's all these kids in here. Call the cops.
The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office says that case had been withdrawn after the victim and witness repeatedly failed to appear in court. But the office is now refiling those charges, along with kidnapping and related offenses in the disappearance of Scott, who went missing shortly after arriving at work at a senior living facility on October 4th, according to investigators. They say Scott and King have known each other for a short time.
Oh my God, isn't that TikTok video like scary? Like it's terrorizing. Like, oh my God, like what is wrong with that man? Why would he do that? And why didn't she call the police?
He was the last person with her. He was traveling with her when her phone goes offline. We have every reason to believe at this point she did not go willingly.
This week, Keon King turned himself in to police. The next day, investigators canvassing with drones and dogs found items believed to belong to the missing woman near an abandoned middle school, and later towed away King's damaged vehicle from an apartment complex. NBC News reached out to King's attorney for comment, while 23-year-old Kada Scott's loved ones wait for answers in agony.
We have no idea at all, like where she is, where she could be. We love her. I just pray that she's safe.
Officials say they believe there may have been other victims of King, tonight encouraging them to come forward. Emily Kada, NBC News.
The concept is fun. It's bikes and coffee. It's going to work. It's going to be great. And then reality hits. It's all sorts of things you don't really think about when you're starting a business. So having a platform like Gusto to help me run HR and payroll on a single platform was huge. It's intuitive, user-friendly, scalable. Onboarding is like click of a button. I don't have to worry about what taxes are being taken out of the
Oops,
account.
I'm sorry. My
fan
fan fell right off the
Bikes
thing.
and coffee, it just makes sense. Kind of the same thing.
All right. Now we'll move on to the findings yesterday. Oh God, that's so big. Stop them. And oh, It's still playing in the background. Oh, I can hear my dog. My boyfriend's home. Okay. Kada. Oh. All right. There's like so much to do before you can get to the video. All right.
The case regarding 23-year-old Kada Scott, who went missing on October 4th. A little bit of a somber and grateful moment here right now. Based on tips that have come in over the past few days, as we called on earlier this week, asking for the public to provide any information, any tips, and the public has been fantastic in providing tips and information, and we greatly appreciate that. But based on a tip that came in late last night through the night, investigators began the process of following up on that tip this morning, starting around 10 o'clock this morning, following up on that tip. And the tip was very specific that led us back to this location here today, which you all know we were out here earlier in the week doing a little bit of a search. And so based on the investigative information, based on the investigation and what they were following up on that tip today, led us back to this area behind the school, where it's a wooded area. I don't know if any of you have been back there, but it's a wooded area that goes beyond the school. And so we begin to go back into that area where we will locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body.
So I guess maybe I'm just not quite getting this. If they've already searched it, how does she just show up there if he's in jail? Why can't they tell us? Let's see if they ask in the news conference.
Body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female. We are not going to confirm at this point that it is Miss Kada Scott, because that has to be done by the medical examiner's office. But we have been in communication with her family as to this process and the fact that we have recovered a human being. And so at this point, it's still a lot of work to be done. I'll be very candid that we can't answer but so many questions. We're not going to get into the investigation at this point because we want to make sure that all of the pieces to this are done correctly and that we don't put out information ahead of time, because we want the people and the person that we have in custody and anybody else that may be involved in this, we want them held accountable to the highest degree of the law for what they have done. And so I just want that to be clear as to why we will not get into specific details. And so that's where we're at this point. Still a lot of work, but I must say a lot of work has been done around this case. As you know, we've been searching, have done multiple searches. We shut down the police academy. That was a decision made by myself and Commissioner Bethel to shut down the police academy over a week ago, where we brought out the entire group of recruits to comb through this area. Again, so I know, listen, no one is happy that this is the ending, and completely understand that this is a lot on our investigators, a lot on all of us, because again, we all have family members, and this could have been any one of our family members, could be anybody's family member, and that's understood, and that's the reason that you see the tireless work that's been done by starting with Northwest Detectives, and then by homicide, by our partners through the FBI, through our forensics office, through any and everybody that has been a part of this process, because we wanted to bring some level of closure to this family. And so, again, we're going to wait until we have official confirmation on, as the medical examiner is going to do their process.
I hope they just don't avoid the whole thing. We know that this man's been in jail.
And then we will bring that confirmation. But that's where we are right now. Again, I can't reiterate enough how much we appreciate, tips and information that have come in from the public. I still will urge the public that if you have any information, anything that you think is related to this, continue to give us that information via 215-686-TIPS. Still continue to give us that information because, again, we don't know if there are other individuals that have been a victim of this individual that we have in custody. And so I just want that to be clear, that please continue to provide that information if you have anything. But that's where we are at this point. I would also ask you to continue to pray for Ms. Scott's family.
What's the process of getting that official confirmation on whether it's her or not?
Well, at this point now, we're on the medical examiner's timeline. And so they will, the body will be recovered and
Okay, so Kathy, do you think that they took time to dig a really, really deep hole? I mean, they had tips, and it would have to have taken a few people to dig a deep hole for the police to miss her the first time. Didn't they have dogs with them?
Transported to the medical examiner's office, and then they will go through their process methodically to ensure that, again, everything is done right. There is a court case that has to come behind this, and that's what I just want to be clear. I know sometimes it seems like the information is not coming fast enough, but we have a job to Ms. Scott. We have a job to her family. Again, if this is confirmed that this is her, to ensure that we are doing everything in the proper way to make sure that the individuals are held accountable. And so we don't want to do anything to compromise that. And so that's why we will be on their timeline. Once we get confirmation, then we will give that to you all and be able to move forward with that process.
This area was cleaned earlier this week. I'm wondering why it took until now for the remains now.
Have you ever been in the woods of any location?
From Appalachia.
Okay, and so then you can understand that it's not an easy process. And when you know that you're looking for something, but don't know where someone hid it, it's not that easy of a process. And so we were here, we were on the other side. We had plans to do some additional searches as the weekend concluded, and as well as going into next week. And so the area where
they're trying to say that her stuff was just all over the place.
Our dogs were back here, officers were back here. Again, there is a lot of wooded area, and so we're grateful today that we're here. Make no mistake about it, if we had located the body yesterday, this in terms of this discovery would not. This person has been deceased for a few days, and so for some time. I'm not going to say how many days, but this didn't just happen yesterday. And so, we did a lot of work. And again, I'm proud of the men and women in this organization that have, been doing the work to try to locate Ms. Scott. And again, in our minds, we know this was a possible reality, and here we are, unfortunately.
Does the timeline match up?
There's a timeline of what?
In terms of when she went missing and how long it looks like
as I said, I am not going to get into any of the investigative process because I don't want to mess up this case. And I don't want anyone picking apart what we say and trying to create a defense. I want to make sure that we do our jobs in the most diligent way. We give the district attorney's office an opportunity to do their job in the most diligent way, and that we get a prosecution on this.
Yeah, he confirmed the dogs were there.
I'm not going to get into any parts of the investigation.
The first
time, not out of disrespect,
yep,
but just simply because I want to make sure that the
person
we have in custody and anybody else that was involved in this, that they are held accountable the way that they should be.
Back there.
And so that's why I'm not getting into the specifics of the case.
The specific tip that came in, could you get into more detail about what was specific about it? Is it in location and was it from a community member?
I won't get into the specifics. It was an anonymous tip that came in through our tip line, as we have been asking for. But it was very specific as to detailing us and directing us to a specific location in the wooded area, going back to your question, a very specific location that narrowed it down. Don't know who the tip is from, but grateful that the individual submitted the tip that brought us back here to this location this morning.
They know where that tip came from. And if there's anything behind it, like his family members or anything, believe me, they're going to look into them.
Just last question. Forget the cursing and the yelling at you guys. It just shows that there's passion behind this. What do you want to say about the passion of the community? They were out here, as you know, last night searching as well. Just your thoughts on just the community's involvement in this case.
Listen, I am not offended by the passion that some of the remarks that have been made as we were walking back. I'm not offended at all, because that's people's emotion, and this is an emotional situation, and so it's to be understood. However, I know what we have done, and the amount of hours that have been put into this process of trying to locate Ms. Scott. I know the work that has been done to bring the individual in the custody that we have in custody, and I know the work that these investigators
somebody put her there, and then somebody
to ensure that we wrap this case up and that we do everything to hold the people accountable in the proper way. Also. And so I'm not. Listen, we can't be upset at that. I mean, that's emotion. If that was my family member, or if I was someone I knew,
somebody said something about a brother,
and listen, to be quite frank about it, the reason I go through the steps of what we have done is because not every community member, they don't know that we shut down the police academy to bring 300 recruits up here to go searching through an area. They don't know that. They don't know that we had teams of dogs from New Jersey State Police come into Philadelphia to help us in the search process. They don't know that. And so it's my job to make sure that I express that, so they know that this police department, we took this case serious. We take every case serious, but the work that's been done to again, bring this to some conclusion. Is this the conclusion that we wanted? Absolutely not. But at this point now, we have to do everything in our power to ensure that we bring justice for this family and some level of closure. And so to answer that, no, it's understandable. Listen, that passion you need, because that's also the passion that helps you drive in the tips. That's the passion that gets you to have the support from the community and getting the information that we got. And so it's understandable.
Could we hear from the ADA as well?
Absolutely.
Once,
from what I hear, this Keon King, he comes from money. His family has money. From what I heard a couple of days ago.
And if it is confirmed that this is Kada, what does this mean for King?
It means that we do our job. It means that we take everything that we know, we take everything that we found out today, we let the MEs do what they do, and then everything will come to us and we'll make the determination of whether we add additional charges.
And what would those additional charges be?
Once we hear from the ME, I'll have a better answer on that. Obviously, we're like you said, we're going in order. Right now, we're on to the ME. They're going to do their investigation. As soon as we hear from them, it'll guide us in what we do.
All right. So I'm looking for the one where the I don't know. I don't think this is the one.
Hi, Drew. So we are back in East Germantown. If you've been following the Kada Scott investigation, today is 2 weeks since she went missing, and we are back here at Ada Lewis Middle School, which has been abandoned for over a decade, and we got the update from police that they found human remains belonging to a female. They say these remains have only been here no longer than a week. Obviously, heartbreaking news for a lot of people to hear, and while police are not confirming that this is Kada Scott, they are obviously acknowledging the high possibility. And police say now the medical examiner will need to confirm who this person is, the remains, who they belong to, and everything will kind of go according from there on. So if you've been following the case, Kada Scott, she was last seen at her workplace, and that is over at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill. That was 2 weeks ago, the night of October 4th. Police have said that she showed up to work and was only there for about 20 minutes. and then she disappeared. And throughout this investigation, we've then learned that the last person she had communication with is a 21-year-old named Keon King. And police say they have evidence digitally as well as through video that this was the last person that she interacted with. Now, Keon King, he was arrested earlier in the week. He turned himself in Tuesday night. Police announced the arrest Wednesday. He's facing several charges, including kidnapping. And we know that there are other prior victims who've now come forward, including the victim of another 2025 prior kidnapping case that was withdrawn from court in May. But obviously, the big news here is the fact that human remains were found. Let me just show you what it looks like now. So you can see that there still is a bit of a police presence, and all the way down the street here, Ardley Street, you can see there is a large group of people. So many people have been following this investigation. They've started to help even with the search. We heard there were over 40 people last night right in this neighborhood searching the grounds of the Arboretum, searching the grounds of this abandoned middle school. And, you know, there were a lot of emotions going on after police announced that they found human remains. So many people who are heartbroken for the family, so many people who are upset by the fact that, you know, remains were found now and not sooner, especially after some of those tips that they provided to police. Now, police tell us that they actually showed up here because of a very specific tip. It was an anonymous tip, and it led police behind this abandoned middle school to a heavily wooded area, and that's where they made the discovery here. So there's a lot to get into tonight. We're definitely going to keep you updated as we learn more. But again, the big notes on this: human remains were found belonging to a female. The remains have been here no longer than a week. This is a property that has been searched before in connection to the disappearance of 23-year-old Kada Scott. We've had her family on Good Day. We've interviewed them over these last couple of weeks, and we know how much she was loved and also how many people had so much pride in what she was doing.
That's just sad. Just sad that this had to happen. Well, there's really no real developments. They're waiting now for the ME to do his job and positively identify who these remains are. It's sad, and I want to give my condolences to whoever this girl belongs to. I am truly sorry. No one should ever have to go this way, and unfortunately, it's become something we hear every single day, every day. But I kind of wanted to keep this under 30 minutes. We covered the little news conference. They really didn't give us nothing, in which they're not, because it's an open investigation. I will be going live tonight to talk about the Dustin Durian, go over his case before his court starts tomorrow, and just kind of want to give everybody a little rundown of what he's on trial for. It has to do with unaliving his wife, girlfriend. I hear wife, I hear girlfriend, but she has a different last name. Sometimes women don't carry their husband's last name. But anyways, friends, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you, Kathy, for the support today. I really, truly appreciate it. And I'm sorry that there's no more information. There's really no more information. And I mean, I could show you a video that shows the grounds of the school, but that's just scary. I don't want to see them. But thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate it. You all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.